Alright, so this is going to be the other battle that I mentioned in the last video, and it's going to be against none other than the Snack once again. It's been a while since I battled the Snack actually, and this time I'm going to be using the team that I used in Tesla's tournament once again, with the only difference being that instead of Heatran I actually have Skarmory instead. And but it's pretty much, it has pretty much a similar role to Heatran anyways. It's meant to set up Stealth Rocks. Only difference is that this can actually face things and has recovery. So there is a little bit of an advantage here. But yeah, and we pretty much agreed on an OU team. And looking at his team, he's actually bringing a sort of an underused team, sort of, because he has Empoleon and he has Cacturne, two very underused mons. I noticed that this is actually something he tends to do quite a lot sometimes, and I never understood. Actually, it's not a bad thing, but I always wondered why he did it. But anyways, yeah, this is gonna be the battle. He's gonna lead off with, or I'm gonna lead off with Skarmory, and he's gonna lead off with the Cacturne basically. And this is actually a very good matchup for me. So first thing I'm gonna do is just go straight for the Brave Bird, because I don't know, for some reason I thought he wasn't gonna switch. Oh no, not Brave Bird, dumbass. I went for Stealth Rocks. He went for Spikes though, and he got 2 layers up. So I'm like, oh shit. First thing I gotta do is take out this Cacturne. So after the Stealth Rocks, I just go straight for the Brave Bird. There's the Brave Bird. It wasn't first turn Brave Bird, it was actually second turn. But yeah, it doesn't KO the Cacturne because it's sashed. And then here it led me to wonder, you know what? Let me defog the hazards because I don't want these spikes up. And then he reveals that he has Destiny Bond. I was like, oh shit. Good thing I didn't try to KO this thing, because I didn't even know that Cacturne can learn Destiny Bond. The only reason I went for defog was because I didn't want to KO this Cacturne and then I wouldn't be able to defog later. Like he'd be able to send something like Talonflame or something, and then I won't be able to get the rocks up. So I needed to defog right there. Then I noticed he was trying to do that again, and here after defogging, I just switch it into Zygarde and he goes for the Destiny Bond yet again. And here I'm just like, okay, that's fine. And then here I go for the substitute because I wanted to see what other moves he had other than Destiny Bond and Spikes. He has Seed Bomb for an offensive stab move basically. And it doesn't break my substitute, so it makes me wonder if this thing is actually bulky or something, because I think Cacturnes have really high attack stat. But I don't know. Anyways, he tries to go for the Sucker Punch just to break my substitute, and I get the thing paralyzed going for Glare. And here I think he goes for Sucker Punch again, so I went for Glare again just because I wanted to see if he was gonna go for it again. I did. Now here I was gonna go for another Glare, but I didn't want to just waste time spamming Glare, so I just went for the Dragon Tail, or Earthquake, not Dragon Tail, the Earthquake. And I take out this Cacturne, but I lose my substitute, which means now he gets a free switch into whatever he wants. And yeah, first thing I'm gonna assume is the Latios. Yeah, and he does get the Latios in. Not a favorable matchup, unfortunately. I guess that's the downside to taking out the Cacturne. It's just that he now gets a free switch in to Latios, and here I just have to switch into Skarmory and hope to God he doesn't have Thunderbolt or Surf or Hidden Power Fire or something. Like this thing's move pool is very wide that it's kind of hard to tell what it's gonna carry. So I was just hoping it didn't carry it. It went for Dragon Pulse, so I was like, does he have Thunderbolt? And turns out he doesn't, because he just went for the Draco Meteor. I guess hoping he would KO my Skarmory, but it doesn't. And here I just go for the Roost because I don't want to keep this Skarmory unhealthy. So yeah, and on top of that, I don't carry leftovers on this Skarmory, so it's very hard to maintain Skarmory very healthy when there's a lot of offensive pressure. And here he switches out into Empoleon, and I switch out because I didn't want to deal with that. I went to Diancie wondering if either he would switch or he would what's it called, switch out, I think. But here I just send out Diancie and I Mega Evolve. This was actually a really dicey play, and I honestly kind of question why I even went for it in the first place. But I went for an Earth Power here, seeing if I can do over half to this thing, and it doesn't. So I was like, wow, this thing took it like a freaking monster. Goes for Scald, and it does way too much damage, and I'm lucky I didn't get the burn right there, because if I did, then I would have lost Diancie. And Diancie is actually kind of something I need on this team, so Here I made a dicier play and just stayed in, risking losing Diancie, and just went for another Earth Power. But because he protected here, I kind of anticipated he was going to switch out into something that can take it. He goes into Skarmory, and I just switched up the freaking Earth Power to Diamond Storm because, yeah, this Skarmory is actually kind of a problem because not a whole lot can deal with it. Actually, I do have Thundurus, but it's not going to be easy switching it in on a bunch of other stuff. Actually, looking at his entire team is actually weak to Thundurus, but I can't really switch it in easily is basically the thing. Anyways, I go for another Diamond Storm here, just to see what else he wants to do. I want to see if he goes for Roost or if he goes for something else. He does go for Stealth Rocks, which is, I don't know why. I don't know if I even had, I think I have Rocks on my field. Oh, no, I don't. Or maybe I do. But either way, he went for Stealth Rocks, and I just Magic Bounced them again, but it didn't matter because I already had Rocks up. And here I go for a third Diamond Storm, and I wasn't able to KO the Skarmory, and I was hoping it would, but it wasn't, so therefore this thing just got to go for Roost. And now I have to hard switch into Thundurus because I know this thing is going to Roost it once again. And here, this is why I meant that I needed a switch into Thundurus, because this Thundurus can actually destroy the majority of his team. A lot of these things on his team are actually weak to Electric. The only things that resist it is this Raikou and the Mega Latios, but everything else takes it super effectively. So it's like, oh yeah, and Cacturne too, but Cacturne was already gone. So 3 of his mons were all weak to Thundurus. However, with the Skarmory having Stardy, it's kind of hard to like get rid of that thing as well. Here I just Volt Switched and went into Weavile, and just because this thing took Rocks damage and I got some damage off with the Volt Switch, I was confident I can take this thing out with a Life Orb boosted knockoff. And I did. Got rid of its Assault Vest, which explains why it didn't do as much as I thought it would do, considering Thundurus' special attack stat. And here I switch out because I didn't want to risk this thing having Iron Head, so I switch out. I go into Skarmory. And he goes for Stealth Rocks, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta Defog. And I have to Defog every time he tries to set up any hazards because my Diancie cannot come in with those hazards up. And if by any chance I lose Skarmory, I need to make sure that at least the hazards are gone. And I gotta prevent that Skarmory from setting them back up again. And thankfully that Skarmory doesn't have Rocky Helmet, so I don't have to worry about Weavile trying to take it out either. Here I go for the Defog. He switches into Empoleon, and my guess here is that he tries to go for Scald. I go for the Stealth Rocks just to get them back up, and he does go for Scald, and I was just hoping I wouldn't get a burn. And then here I think I try to Roost one more time. I try to Roost one more time. Yeah, I Roost. And I think here he goes for the Defog, which, by the way, I completely forgot that Empoleon gets Defog, actually. Which is kind of ironic, because this was actually when I was watching the UCL battles from the King Nappy, and he was using Defog on his Empoleon, so I kind of don't understand how I even forgot about that. But yeah, here it gave me an idea, because he went for Defog. I just decided to set up the Rocks again. He goes for Scald again. So here, my guess was that he was going to try to Defog again. So here, I make another hard switch. And I go into Weavile. Oh no, not Weavile. Thundurus, dumbass. I do send in Weavile on an Empoleon later, but not here. Here I send in Thundurus just to basically go for Volt Switch, because with the Raikou gun and the Cacturne gun, like everything else, only his Latios is like the only switch in at this point. And I can just get some free damage by just Volt Switching. He does go into Latios because that's the only thing he has left to resist the Volt Switch, so I go straight into Weavile right here. Cause yeah, this Weavile can outspeed Mega Latios because Weavile has very high speed. And here, he's gonna switch out and he's gonna go straight back into Empoleon, which is actually good on his part, because here I go for the Icicle Crash. And the reason why I went for Icicle Crash and not Knockoff was because on the off chance that he would actually stay in and it actually lives the Knockoff, because I think the Mega Latios are very bulky, so I was kind of afraid that even with the Life Orb I wouldn't be able to KO it with the Knockoff. So I went straight for the Icicle Crash, and I didn't want to get Draco'd and lose Weavile. So, but here, this is where the mistake kind of comes in. He goes into this thing, and it actually, because I went for Icicle Crash and not Knockoff, I wasn't able to KO this thing with a low kick, and then this thing was able to finish me off with a Scald, because it was Torrent boosted, so I was like, ah, damn it. And I needed Weavile, because that thing was like the only thing I had to deal with Mega Latios, if I wasn't able to win the speed tie with Mega Diancie. So here with Latios, I just send in Latios just to finish it off with a Psychic, because nothing takes out. And the reason why I send in Latios and Diancie or something was just because I didn't want the Talonflame to come in and just freaking priority Brave Bird and whatnot. Here he switches into Skarmory, and I went for Psychic, and then after he went for Protect, and because he went for Protect, I had a feeling he wanted to switch out again, so I just went for Draco Meter just to get a lot of damage on whatever he tries to switch in, even if it was the Skarmory. Here I hard switch into Thundurus yet again because it's always I can always get some more residual damage with Volt switching because he knows he can't just lead the Skarmory on this Thundurus. So once again he switches into Latios, or not Latios, Empoleon because he's sacking it, and because it's already weakened as it is and it can't really outspeed the majority of my team anyway, so he figured let's sack it, and he does. And I think here I go once again back to Latios. Yeah, I do go back to Latios here, and here he sends out Talonflame. And I was actually afraid of this matchup. I was actually panicking when I saw that this was going to be the matchup. But I surprisingly outspeeded, so I was like, huh? First of all, I thought it was going to priority Brave Bird me, and if it was going to go for U-turn, I thought it was going to outspeed. But I guess not. I guess this is an adamant Talonflame, because I was able to speed tie with it. Or outspeed it or something. But here, now here's where my hubris starts to kick in, and I actually start to make a bunch of ridiculous plays. So he switches, he sends in his Mega Latios, and instead of me switching out to Diancie, because I think the rocks were not even up anyways, I just let this thing die. Oh no, the rocks were up, so I had to, and I couldn't switch in this thing either, so I don't know. But here I felt like I was making a bunch of risky plays. I let Latios die for no reason, and then I send this Skarmory. And I do go for the Fog here, because he was at -2, and I figured, you know what, I don't think he's going to kill me with another Draco Meter. He keeps going for more Dracos, and I'm like, you know what, let's just set up Stealth Rocks too. For some reason, I was sacking this thing already, and I don't know why I was sacking this, honestly. That was literally probably the worst thing I could have done. Here I go for another... here I go for Brave Bird because I wanted to actually attack this thing. I don't know why I was trying to sack Skarmory here. But it was until I think here's where I go for the Roost once again. But I have to oh no, I don't even Roost, so I just switch out into Zygarde. I don't know what was going into my head when I made these plays, honestly, because I was doing pretty good throughout the majority of this match. But I don't know, here I guess I got kind of like greedy or something, and then I was just doing whatever the hell I wanted. That's like the only logical reason I can think of why I even made any of these plays whatsoever. Because what I should have done there when he had the Skarmory out was go for the Roost. Here I go for Substitute on Zygarde. I don't know why. I should be trying to send in Skarmory once again, so I can get the Roost up, but I guess I'm not going for that. Here after the Substitute, I just go for the Glare just to paralyze this thing. And yeah. Just paralyze this thing. And although I think that's kind of bad, but at the same time, I don't know. Here he goes for Whirlwind, and this actually surprised me big time because I saw Defog, so I figured if he has Defog on this Skarmory, I don't think he has Whirlwind, but he did, and I was like, what the? And here, as a result, I lose Diancie because he got the Rocks up and then Whirlwinded. And here, I think I do Roost here. Yeah, I do Roost here. Thankfully, I win the speed tie, because if he went for the Brave Bird or Iron Hit... Oh, no, I outspeed it anyways, because it's paralyzed. But here I Roost, and then here he Whirlwinds again. Sends me out into Zygarde again. And here, I think I just try to Dragon Tail it, because I realize now that what he's trying to do now is just try to Whirlwind me. And he's at full HP, so if he gets my Thundurus in, I wasn't going to be able to do much to it. So I had to just Dragon Tail it, just to get some chip damage, just to make sure that Sturdy is broken. And then here, I don't know, I guess I switch out. This was also a bad play, actually. I switch out Zygarde. I don't think I should have. I think this was a really, really bad play, because I realized that this Skarmory can probably just wall this Latios out if I had it healthy enough. But because I just hard switched it in, it had to take a lot of damage from Draco Meteor. And now it's completely weakened, where even at -2, it's not gonna survive another Draco, honestly. So that was another bad play. I don't know what was going in my head. Again, I don't get what was happening. Did I get greedy? Was I getting kind of cocky and thinking, yeah, you know what? Let's just mess around with this guy. Big mistake. Because here I go into Thundurus just to go for another Volt Switch here. Here I was gonna go for HP Ice, and I guess he thought that too. So I went into it, but I actually went for Volt Switch because, again, now I had literally nothing to lose. Because this thing was about to kill me, and or this thing was about to just start wrecking house, so I was like, you know what, let's just go for Volt Switch. Plus, he's at -4, so there's no reason for him to even stay in either, so... And here I just sent in Zygarde, which was supposed to be the sack, but I didn't sack it, unfortunately. I sacked Skarmory, which was my biggest mistake in this entire battle, honestly. Because I could have been able to Hard Switch into Landorus every time he sends out Latios, but now I can't. Now I just lose Zygarde, for no reason, actually. This was like the worst. This entire sequence, after I let my Latios die to this Mega Latios in the first place, was like by far my worstest, most sloppiest, most idiotic of plays ever, honestly. So I send out, what's it called, Thundurus after you know, losing Zygarde, and I go for HP Ice, and to my surprise at the time, this damn thing freaking survived and just took out my freaking, what's it called? So, yeah, that kind of sucked, actually. Because I was honestly trying to freaking KO this thing, and I wasn't unable to, so, yeah, that kind of blows. Like, I was thinking, okay, despite all the bullshit that I've done, I think I could still win this, but because it lived the Hidden Power Ice, I was just like, I lost that. But honestly, I actually deserved that loss, honestly, just because I was literally getting greedy, so good job to freaking Nacho for freaking putting me down and putting me in my place, goddammit. Never underestimate the snack. Good game.